Vortex of the Destroyer is the 10th full-length album from Swedish black metal band Svartsyn. Now, these folks have been around since 1991. They were originally known as Chalice, and they released a couple of kind of legendary tapes before disbanding and renaming and reworking the band with a different lineup into Svartsyn. And they're not necessarily the most well-known and revered band in terms of their first couple of records. They struggled at every turn for those first 10 years and never quite got any due for what they were doing at the time. Especially the True Legend, it really does sound like horse shit in terms of its recording, but it's a solid record. And His Majesty kind of followed up with something that was a little bit more intense. This is my favorite record from the band. It really is the baseline of my expectation, and not only is it a kind of a riff black metal record, but also something that has really satisfyingly hollow production values. There's something very metallic and strangely rhythmic about all that they do on that record. It's cacophonic and maniac, and it's a lot of the things that I like about Swedish black metal in those days before a lot of those styles changed, especially if you're a fan of like Onskapt and even just the first Armageddon records. There's something to really dig into there in terms of that early stuff. I'm not going to talk about 10 records here so much as point out to my favorites, so definitely listen to His Majesty. And then for my own taste, Wrath Upon the Earth and Black Testament, kind of from the Agonia Records period of their discography. Go for Black Testament. I think that is one of the most interesting records that he put out. Ornias, the main fellow behind the work, the vocalist and guitarist. I think Black Testament is a pained and estranged record. It really takes a lot of chances with its production values being very, very strong, as well as the guitar work being more inventive than it had been even on the previous couple of records. I think most people would enjoy Timeless Rain, and pick anything they've done after 2007 or so, and you're probably going to enjoy it if you liked any of it at all. So, very consistent band, one very much worth talking about, especially if you're a fan of the orthodox black metal movement per Sweden and bands like Funeral Mist and whatnot. Otherwise, I'll cut to a clip here and we'll get a sense for what this new record is in terms of its newer songs. So this record does something interesting in terms of 4 new songs that are obviously brand new compositions that are right on the edge of the newest material that he's put out in some time. And then we've got some of the oldest stuff that Ornias had ever written with his cohort Tormentor back in 1991. So these were 6 of these 10 songs were written back in 1992. They've obviously been polished up and changed a bit, but you'll feel there is a lot of preservation happening here with that second half, because these are 1992 style black metal songs written for one rhythm guitar, and you'll feel that distinctly once you switch over from those first 4 songs, which are written for multiple guitars and have an enormous sound and have a complexity to them that is mind-blowing. The drumming is more intense on the earlier half of the record. Everything is bigger and just shaped in this monstrous way. And then we step down to these 92 style songs, and they're still imposing and sinister black metal of the old school fashion. But the way that I describe them here in the review is more that you definitely hear the influence from Mayhem in the way the rhythms and the groups form. There's certainly some of the brutality of early Immortal in terms of the drumming, and I point to Swedish bands The Black on the Priest of Satan record, as well as Throne of Ahaz's Niflheim, and especially their first demo, as to some of those more heavy metal moments and some of the more punkish, quick to form songs that have classic thrash and heavy metal in their grooves and the way they form their sounds. And so there's something brand new and very modern and insane about this record, and then there's something very old school and classic about this record. And it's like, the way that I say it in this review is that it's the perfect introduction to Svartsyn if you just are completely oblivious, because you get what's happening now at its highest form, and you get what was happening back in 92, really at the peak of the black metal art form for most people who really dig back and have sharp taste. So we're kind of getting the best of the past, and we're seeing the very beginning of the band while we're staring at the brand new precipice of what they're working on at the same time. And I found that extremely entertaining. It's just a great black metal record the way it plays. there's obviously two very distinct halves of the experience, of course. All of it is quality, all of it is riff focused, and all of it is really delivered with a lot of conviction. You can tell this has been an obsession of the artist for a very long time, and you can feel that care put into this record and all of its details. So check that out for yourself. See if that lines up for you. For me, that's a high recommendation. That is something that most all black metal fans will enjoy if they're serious about guitar music. So check it out for yourself, and go ahead and read my review if you'd like more of my thoughts.